All right, so I am going to talk about something that happened recently on kind of a snafu, I guess you could say, that the ID at Xbox Twitter handle or X handle, however you want to say it, did. They posted an image. There was like a winter themed image, and it was the post was to celebrate like indie games because, ID at Xbox, they handle all the independent game promotions and everything like that. That's where the system they all go through. And whenever indies come over there, it all goes through ID at Xbox.
Yep.
But very quickly, people started looking at this image a little bit closer and realizing that this is likely an AI created image.
Yeah.
So the Xbox logo itself the lettering was different, which if you know anything about brands, they almost always be like, you got to stick to our branding and our logos and our fonts and all this kinds of stuff like that. So that was wrong. A lot of the characters in the scene had weird anomalies in their face and various things. There was one that was a kid and he had a mustache and just all kinds of obvious things. It's like, this is an AI generated post. Now, Xbox never confirmed that because they just deleted the tweet.
Sure.
And got rid of it. And the crazy thing about it, and two, the kind of the worst part about it, if you will, is because it was ID at Xbox, which is the one who deals with independent developers.
Right.
And they weren't really happy. So even some of the independent developers who have produced games for ID at Xbox came out and said, I'm not really feeling the fact that you won't even hire someone to make an image for you to promote independent artists, essentially.
Right.
And
you won't
look,
hire independent artists to expose independent artists.
Yes. And so I will say this, and I don't remember if I've said it on the show or not before, but I will just continue to plant my flag in this hill. AI art is not art. Look, as a person who cannot draw, cannot paint, cannot do any of that stuff, I feel people's pain about, I have a cool idea for a cool crossover or image or thing like that, but I can't make it happen. I don't want to go pay somebody, or I can't afford to pay somebody. I understand and feel that pain.
Yes.
You run over to the GPTs and the whatever's Mid-Journeys, whatever you want to call them, and you just throw in a thing and you spit it out and you say, like, look at this cool image. I don't care. I want nothing to do with it. And I know that the AI art is going to get better and better to the point where I can't tell the difference. There's probably been art that I've seen right now and favored it on some social media somewhere, not even realizing that it's AI art because it's going to continue to get better and better. And I also know, much like vertical video, which is also trash, it's just going to stay here. And it's just going to be there. And it's a losing battle. It's going to happen. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to respect it, because I just don't think that AI should be used as an enhancement and a productivity tool and to take care of mundane things and answer questions and, find out what time it is in, this part of the country that I don't live in and what the weather's like there. It should not be made for making art, in my opinion.
I agree.
So I am glad personally that all these people held their feet to the fire so much that they had to just delete the tweet. And to be fair, there's probably some intern made it real quick, put it out there, because a lot of them have, the freedom to just, as long as a lot of social media companies, social media wings, they'll like give you a little bit of a test run where they're kind of monitoring how you do things. And then if you kind of feel like you can handle yourself, they kind of let you give you a little more leash to kind of do things on your own and whatnot. This was probably somebody who thought, oh, this is really cool. I'll make this really fast and we'll just put this out. They probably didn't mean any harm by it. But I still think that it especially looks bad that it was the ID at Xbox wing that did this.
It'd have been different if it was Microsoft.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, and to be fair, Microsoft and Microsoft proper is doing all this push for like AI stuff. And there's even they've had Xbox has had talk about AI stuff in game development and all these various things like that, which I think that there's a place for AI in game development, but it's not in creating art. It's not in creating dialogue. It's not in creating voices, in my opinion. So I'm glad that this became a kerfluffle, because eventually it's not going to be a kerfluffle. And then more and more people are just going to be out of jobs and not able to make a living making art.
Yeah.
Right. I'm right there with you, man. I really am. Chris. I think that's great.
I'm off my soapbox now.
It's funny too, because at first glance, that image looked like your regular ID image. And then when, like the article was saying, when you really look at it, it's like, oh yeah, those faces are kind of weird. Like that's
Yeah.
not quite right. Yeah. And I wouldn't have given it a second thought. I would have just scrolled, and never thought about it. So
Yeah.
good.
You would have had to really know the Xbox logo. I think that's the biggest telling point, right? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
if you really know that and that's ingrained in you, you're like, that looks, why'd they do that? And then that gets you looking a little closer, you know, and the internet's undefeated. So, you know, you're going to go slide anything past the internet, it seems.
Right.